Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional traveler. Today I'm going to answer the question, how do you join an expedition? How to join an expedition? How do you join an expedition? This is a question that came up in one of my YouTube comments, and I thought I'd get right into it. How to join an expedition? That's actually an interesting question because I've had that question myself, and that's what I'm going to explain here. But before I do that, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button, that helps me bring this info to you, and also leave me a comment below and give me some ideas for future videos and let me know how I'm doing and share your thoughts. Thank you very much for subscribing and commenting. So, I happen to have a book right here. Don't worry, this isn't really a sales pitch for the book, but I've been on quite a few expeditions in my life, to the Arctic, to the Antarctic, up high mountains, trekking in the Sahara. I mean, all sorts of fun stuff. And I remember when I started getting into these things, saying, oh, I always wish I could go on an expedition to some grandiose thing. Well, how do you actually join an expedition? Therein lies the challenge. So my co-author and I, Dr. Terry Williams, we decided actually to write the book on that. In fact, I believe this is only the only book on the market because it's really a tough subject, and as you can see, there's a lot to talk about. So I'll put a link below if you really are serious about building up your own expedition, which is one of the options. We'll discuss that. So there are a couple of different ways to join an expedition. First, you have to answer, well, why do I want to go on an expedition? I'm going to be dirty, tired, possibly at risk, at great expense. And for those of you watching this who find that really attractive, watch on. For those who don't, keep watching anyway. You might learn something. So the best way to join an expedition, assuming you're just fishing around for the idea, is to start your own. What? Are you crazy? Yeah, dude, check this out. So, my expedition to Antarctica, initially I thought, oh, I'll just go on a guided trip. I'll call up ALE and spend a bunch of money. I spent a bunch of money anyway, and head out on an expedition with a guide and go through that. And I thought, hey, that's a totally viable thing. And then I realized, I've done a lot of solo trekking. I've been to a lot of places. I've guided people in the wilderness, had some people get sick, had to take them down off a mountain, and I've done all those things. Why don't I do my own? So, assuming you're just looking to get on an expedition and you don't have a plan to go to a particular place, you can just create your own. Now, should you do this initially on the outset to go to wherever with no experience? I don't recommend that, simply because they're a great risk. So we talk about that in my book, Adventure Expedition 1, but there are a lot of risks you had to consider. Now, I'm a soloist most of the time, and that's even more risky. If you are not comfortable with that, don't do it. You don't want to die. We want you to come back alive. So, creating your own expedition, you want to start small, start rolling into these things, and that's how you can boil that up. But let's jump to the other case of you want to join somebody's expedition that you've heard about. And the number one question, no, we'll call that the number one question. The number one question the leader of the expedition is going to ask you is, what do you bring to the table? And if you say, well, I'm not sure, the only thing that's going to happen is, click, okay, son, okay, girl, yeah, no. You have to bring something to an expedition. Like my co-author, he has 30 plus years as an emergency room doctor. He's done work in Papua New Guinea, all over the place. I mean, this dude's had his hand in people's torso trying to get their heart started. I mean, he has mad skills. It's just like the stories he's told me, it's just blown me away. So if Terry finds out, hey, there's an expedition, perhaps there's a lot of crew, maybe they need a doctor or a medic, he can call up and he has at least a respectable chance of being on an expedition. Now me, I'm not a doctor. I've taken my, was at Knowles National Outdoor Leadership School. I've taken my wilderness first aid basics, or wilderness basic first aid. Yeah, so I do have that. But I'm no doctor. I'm not even an EMT. So if you want to go down that route of, hey, I want to bring some medical skills, if you're just a noob who knows how to put a Band-Aid on, not going to cut it. You need to at least go to Knowles and get what's called your WIFR. That's the Wilderness First Responder Certification. Then you get your Wilderness First Responder certification, then you actually become valuable to a lot of expeditions, because many may be required for their filming company or their scientific research, or they just want to be smart and have somebody who's very competent in first aid, but you also have to be skilled in whatever that expedition is. Is it mountain climbing, polar exploration, kayaking across the Indian Ocean, hacking your way through the jungle in the mega transect of Africa? You not only have to have the, say, medical skill, but you also have to have the experience of going there. Perhaps you're a professional photographer or videographer. That's huge. Now, don't think that you're going to go down to the store, buy the red Canon Rebel TI3, show up and, hey, I'm a photographer. No way. Put it out of your mind. You're going to embarrass yourself. Can you build up to that point? Absolutely. Make a great couple clips. Make a good video. Do something like that. That's a way to get on there. Perhaps they need, the expedition needs extra crew to haul things. Maybe they require sailing skills, navigation, communication. I mean, there's all sorts of ways that you can contribute to an expedition. Now, another way, in which I'm a member of, is to join the American Alpine Club. I'll put a link below to that as well as the book. But the American Alpine Club is the premier climbing club in at least America, if not around the world. I love being part of that club because they have a connection to climbers everywhere. They have books on how accidents happen, how great new climbing routes, because when you think of expedition, what's the one mountain you think of? Everest, of course. So we'll get into that in a moment. Also, if you want to find something really crazy out, look up on your web search browser the Explorers Club. Now, it takes 2 people to get you into the Explorers Club. It's not that easy, but you can at least go as a guest to go to their luncheons or dinners or whatever there might be in your local area. So checking out the Explorers Club might get you into the, hey, I've done the trek across the freaking empty quarter, I'm the last dude to do it, or I'm the first woman to have been able to get into the Geisha Society, whatever. The Explorers Club is loaded with people who have done things that you can't even imagine. Now, Robert Riohan, this guy, he looked for one of the last downed fighters in the South Pacific over an island. It was something nuts. And then he went to South America and he was looking for a lost airplane there. I think he was part of a team that built a concrete boat and boated it down the Nile. I mean, or the Amazon. I can't remember what it was, but just nuts. You can go there and say, wow, I actually really like this. So the question of how to join an expedition comes down to, what do you bring? Do you have multiple skills that can be valuable? But that third thing is your attitude. Are you super easy to work with? Because if you're joining an expedition, that means you're not the boss, and you have to just be really smart, be cool, and be easy to work with. If you're creating your own expedition, don't be a jerk, because people don't like being with jerks. So that's huge. If you have the, I am the manly man, I'm the womanly woman, and I'm going to tell everyone how to do it, chances are you're not going to make it, because it's not just a job interview. You're out there with other people whose lives may depend on you. So that's a huge, huge factor. You have to have the attitude check. If you think you're all that in a bag of chips, as they say, and you're abrasive and hard to deal with, I promise you, you're going to have a really, really hard time getting on an expedition. So join some of the climbing clubs, the American Alpine Club. Go take a class at Knowles. Get your wilderness first aid responder certification. You don't have to go to school. It's just a 2-week class, but you'll become much more valuable. Go to one of the Explorers Club meetings. I mean, there are lots of ways to join an expedition. My name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and professional traveler. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Scroll down and leave a comment. Also, please support me on Venmo, PayPal, and Patreon. Thank you very much for watching.